Today, we're going to talk about the one organ you absolutely can't live without, but you might be damaging every single day without even realizing it. Yep, I'm talking about your brain.
Think about it. We spend so much time and energy focusing on our appearance, right? Our muscles, our weight, but we often forget about the command center. You know, the boss that's responsible for every single thought, feeling, and action we take. And what's really wild is that many of our most common, seemingly harmless daily habits are actually the ones slowly causing the most damage. So let's pull back the curtain and uncover these hidden dangers. We're going to start with the absolute fundamentals, the things your brain needs just to survive and thrive. Think of these as the simple, basic errors we're all kind of guilty of making. First up is a big one, not getting enough sleep. It's a huge problem for so many of us, and trust me, it goes way beyond just feeling a little tired the next day. So here's what's going on. As your brain works all day, it creates metabolic waste. And during deep sleep, and only during deep sleep, your brain runs this amazing deep clean cycle, flushing out all those toxins. When you skip sleep, that waste just builds up, and that buildup is directly linked to some serious long-term problems, and can even cause your brain to physically shrink. Yeah, really. So, cleaning the brain is crucial, but so is giving it the right fuel. And that brings us to an incredibly simple mistake tons of us make, just not drinking enough water. 70%. Our entire body is mostly water, and that's especially true for the brain. So without enough of it, everything just kind of starts to slow down. And the effects are almost immediate. Get this, researchers found that just 2 hours of intense activity without rehydrating can cause a decline in your cognitive abilities. A dehydrated brain struggles with everything. It thinks slower, it loses focus. In fact, that deep cleaning system we just talked about, it works way less efficiently without enough water. It's such a simple fix, right? Staying hydrated is one of the easiest ways to keep your brain sharp.
This one's super common, whether you're in a rush or trying to cut calories. But skipping that first meal of the day is a truly terrible idea for your brain.
Look, after a whole night of fasting, your brain is basically running on empty. It needs that hit of glucose from breakfast to function properly, and the long-term consequences are serious. I mean, a massive 15-year study of over 80,000 people found a clear link between skipping breakfast and a higher risk of stroke and high blood pressure. That's a huge deal. Okay, so let's go from not eating to eating the wrong thing. We all know sugar isn't our friend, but its effect on the brain is particularly damaging. This is such a fascinating concept. Eating too much sugar can lead to something called brain malnutrition. And no, it's not about the amount of food you're eating. It means that the sugar is actively stopping your brain from getting the proteins and nutrients it needs to grow. It basically starves your brain, which messes with your memory and your ability to think clearly. And it's not just about the sweet stuff. Overeating in general puts a huge strain on your brain's health. So how does this work? Well, constantly overeating can actually harden the arteries in your brain, the little pathways that deliver blood. It's kind of like restricting its fuel supply. One study found that overweight individuals had a 22% greater decline in their cognitive function compared to their leaner peers. That is a significant and measurable impact. Okay, so we've covered the survival basics. Now let's dive into the traps that are hidden in our modern routines, the things we just do every day without a second thought. We've all been told that multitasking is this amazing skill, right? A way to be more productive. Well, guess what? It's a myth. Your brain just wasn't built for it. So here's what's actually happening. When you think you're multitasking, your brain is just switching from one task to another really quickly. And every single switch comes with what's called a cognitive cost. It's a tiny moment of mental effort that adds up, making you less efficient and way more prone to errors. This habit also jacks up stress hormones, which leads to that awful feeling of mental fog. This one might surprise you. Constantly blasting music through your headphones can damage a lot more than just your ears. Now, here's why this matters for your brain. When your hearing gets damaged, your brain has to work incredibly hard just to figure out what people are saying. It's using so much energy on just understanding the sound that it has less capacity left over to actually store what you've heard in your memory. So seriously, try this simple test. It's a great way to protect your hearing and your brain. And there are a few other common traps to watch out for. Not exercising robs your brain of oxygen and crucial growth hormones. Working while you're sick forces an already stressed out brain to work overtime. And finally, this one is weird, but sleeping with your head under the covers can create a little bubble of carbon dioxide, starving your brain of the oxygen it needs.
And finally, let's talk about the 2 habits that are pretty much considered the most destructive things you can do to your brain.
This is probably the single most harmful habit on our list. The damage that smoking does to the brain is extensive and, well, it's severe.
Just think about that for a second. Smoking physically thins the cortex. That's the part of your brain that handles language, memory, and perception. It literally erodes the part that makes you, you. This is why the link to dementia and Alzheimer's is so incredibly strong. It's not just a risk factor, it is actively accelerating the aging of your brain.
And right alongside smoking is the chronic overconsumption of alcohol. While a drink here and there might be fine, drinking too much causes serious chemical imbalances, and over time, it can actually shrink the physical volume of your brain.
So, after all that, what's the most crucial point? Well, it's not about being perfect. It's about being aware and taking small, manageable steps to protect your most valuable asset. You don't have to change everything overnight. Seriously, just picking 1 or 2 of these habits to work on can have a huge, positive impact on your memory, your learning, and your overall brain health for years and years to come. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What's one small thing you can start doing differently starting today? Because taking care of your brain now is truly the best investment you can ever make in your future self.
El gossip que